All right, here we go. Welcome into the show. It was a late night last night, but we're back at it here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. My name is Chase Sr., and as always, no matter where you are, how you're tuned in, I greatly appreciate all of you for making today's show a part of your day. Eagles, 24-20 winners over the Dallas Cowboys, and we are going to go through all of what transpired last night at Lincoln Financial Field coming up here over the next several minutes. I got to begin here, though. Go Birds! It's a Victory Friday. It's a beautiful feeling if you're pumped up that the Philadelphia Eagles are off to a 1-0 start here to kick off 2025. I want all of the real ones to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. What I want to discuss here, the good, the bad, and the why behind why this was a great Eagles victory, in my opinion, against the Cowboys on Thursday night to kick off the 2025 NFL season. Topic number 2, will Jalen Carter get suspended by the NFL? The Carter-Dak Spitgate, fascinating story in the NFL right now, which happened prior to an offensive play being run. A lot happened in those 6 seconds. Biggest winners and losers from this game also coming up, so let's dive in here. And my overall reaction to what the Eagles were able to accomplish on Thursday night. I think this was a very solid win for the Eagles. Look, was it perfect? No. I didn't expect this Eagles victory or this Eagles performance to be flawless, to be unblemished, to be perfect. They hadn't played a game with their starters since the Super Bowl. They didn't participate in any preseason games. This was their first live session when they're going up against another team, when tackling is allowed. And remember what happened last year, right? The Eagles were not perfect early in the year. In fact, there were a lot of flaws. There were weaknesses. There were mistakes. Jalen Hurts turned the football over at an alarming rate early in the year. The defense struggled. But then what happened? After that bye, Philadelphia was nearly perfect the rest of the way. They won every game that Jalen Hurts started and finished, and they still haven't lost a game that Hurts has started and finished since the Buccaneers game at the end of last September. And you see the special and what Philadelphia can accomplish with some of the developments from last night's game. Look, I also got to say this, right? The Cowboys are a solid team. They have been awful running the football. They have been awful stopping the run. They were good in those 2 areas. Dak Prescott played 8 games last year because of that torn hamstring. We saw last night he is no longer a mobile quarterback, but some of his throws were tremendous. From a quarterback standpoint, his teammates, led by CeeDee Lamb, really let him down. I thought Dak played well. I thought Brian Schottenheimer coached well. He was calling the offensive plays against Vic Fangio, and the Cowboys scored on every drive in that first half. Matt Eberflus, after the weather delay, made some nice adjustments on the defensive side of the ball. And so because I think the Cowboys are a solid team, they can win 10-plus games. This is a quality win over a playoff caliber team. Now, the margin for error for Dallas isn't great. They don't have a lot of depth. And so when they make mistakes, they're glorified and they get a little bit exposed. But the Cowboys are a pretty solid ball club. Jalen Hurts, he was incredible. I was looking for Hurts to become better and grow and evolve off of what he did in the NFC Championship game and in the Super Bowl against Kansas City. We're seeing a really dynamic, special, unique quarterback who wins a ton, but he is really starting to get more comfortable as a passer, as a player, and his legs were a game changer last night. The continued involvement of him, that's a great sign for this entire Eagles operation and organization. The Jalen Carter, Dak Prescott Spitgate, it's fascinating. We'll spend some more time on that coming up here just around the corner. I also think this is important to note, right? The weather delay severely impacted offensive flow. Neither offense could be stopped from scoring in that first half. The weather delay happens, it lasts an hour. You get Cole going back to the locker room. Momentum was seized from Philadelphia after they punched the football away from Miles Sanders. And for both teams coming out of that weather delay, it was sluggish on the offensive side of the rock. And the defense has certainly played well. Edge to those defensive units. What I like to see, the Eagles did get off to a great start. People were saying the offense sucked. Are you kidding me? They scored 3 touchdowns on 3 first-half drives. Doesn't get better. Now, the defense, they weren't good to start. 4 scores on 4 drives. But then what happened? Adjustments. The Eagles' defense, special teams, coaching, masterful in this game. You gave them the edge over Dallas. And Philadelphia gave up 0 points in the second half, pitching a second-half shutout. The only 3 points in that second half from Jake Elliott. And the biggest emphasis with this win for me is that Jalen Hurts was superb. Your quarterback is elite. You have a chance every single weekend, every single year to win and become a championship contender. That is huge that he continues to progress and get better. The defense pitching a shutout in the second half and the adjustments that we saw personnel-wise, coaching-wise, that was impressive from Vic Fangio. This is one of the best overall coaching staffs in the NFL. I know some people are ripping Kevin Patullo. Pass game downfield wasn't there. 3 points in the second half. What I saw in that first half, though, I'll take it because you can build off of that. And with this win for the Eagles, you see that they are capable of accomplishing something special once again here in 2025. And when it boils down to this, let's talk about the quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Hurts last night against the Dallas Cowboys played a perfect game. He could not have played better. And some casuals will say he didn't put up gaudy numbers. Hurts was fine. He was the best player on the field against the Cowboys with his ability to impact the game on money downs in crucial situations with his arm and with his legs. 19 of 23, accuracy was there, 51-yard bomb to Jahan Dotson downfield, beautiful throw, 152 passing yards, but what he did on the ground with his legs, he torched the Dallas Cowboys. That was the difference in this game, 2 rushing touchdowns. It's always a good and great sign when your quarterback is playing this well with another new play caller. He's had so many play callers going back to his career at Alabama, then Oklahoma, and professionally, and he still adapts, evolves, improves, and progresses. Hurts is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, undoubtedly, and you saw it last night. Best player on the field. More offensive takeaways. Is A.J. Brown healthy? Missed 3 weeks because of that hamstring. He didn't look right, and his routes that the Eagles asked him to run, very simplified. But he showed why he's such a special player. Top 3 wideout in the game. He impacts winning, and his impact was felt. The Cowboys' pure emphasis on defense. 2 things. They wanted to stop Saquon Barkley. They did a solid job. They took away A.J. Brown. They did a great job of that. But Jalen Hurts with his feet turned the game. Dallas Goedert, very impressive. A.J. Brown, lone target, big catch in a big situation. Others stepped up. It's a team-wide win. Saquon Barkley led the NFL in touches last year. He looked good and spry. That 10-yard touchdown run that he had, really impressive. He looked awesome last night. Some of the jump cuts, jukes, making guys miss. Looks like the guy from last year. And on the touchdown run that he had, go back and watch how Tyler Steen blocked and finished. Tremendous. That's the potential that he has. And then what Nick Sirianni is also going to love to see, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith blocking downfield as well. A question I do have, why couldn't wide receivers get open? Is that a scheme thing? Was it something that Dallas was doing? Going to have to dive into the all-22. And Kevin Patullo is going to have to answer that. And I think context, as always, is very important. No preseason play. So Philadelphia here won this game. That is the goal. You see the potential, and they're going to continue to get better in my estimation. As for Vic Fangio's defense, in the first half, they give up 4 scores on 4 drives. Philadelphia racked up a ton of penalty yardage, almost all of it exclusively on the defensive side of the ball, more than 100 yards in penalty yardage. And they accumulated that like in the first half or in like 2.5 quarters. It was bad. They were undisciplined. They weren't great on the money downs. I thought Adoree Jackson was terrible, and those concerns are real. But in the second half, this is what elite teams do. This is what elite coaches do. Do you make the necessary adjustments? Coaching-wise, personnel-wise, execution-wise, game planning-wise. Check that. Philadelphia did it. And do you make the right coaching adjustments, which is what Vic Fangio did last night, and that's why he's probably the highest paid defensive coordinator in the NFL. Speaking of Adoree Jackson here, this is a real concern for me at cornerback 2. Should Philadelphia start Jacorian Bennett? I would. See what you have in Jacorian Bennett. Adoree Jackson is your backup. You also have Mac McWilliams. You have Keely Ringo. Adoree Jackson's not it. We knew that, though. Another alternative here, you know Philadelphia is going to look potentially at making a trade. I mean, shoot, Howie Roseman reached out to the Dallas Cowboys about Micah Parsons. You think he's not scouring the trade market to see if he can upgrade corner again? I do think Jacorian Bennett is capable of being a really good starter opposite of Quinyon Mitchell. Eagles are probably going to give him some time to see what he can do. If he struggles, though, Howie Roseman might strike. He said this after the Eagles cut their roster down to 53 players. They're not done. All right, topic number 2. We have to talk more about this Jalen Carter, Dak Prescott spitgate. And like everything, context is very important. This is the photo that everybody saw initially. This is the video that everybody saw initially, right? Where before an offensive play was even run from scrimmage, following the kickoff in which a player blew out his knee, before we even got the game really underway, 6 seconds in, we saw the video of Jalen Carter spitting on the chest of Dak Prescott. An official was right by him. Carter got ejected, and he was escorted off the field by Big Dom. And when you see that moment, you're saying, what the hell is Jalen Carter doing? That's one of the most idiotic things that I've ever seen. He is out of his mind for doing something so stupid. And those character concerns coming out of Georgia, they've been silenced a little bit. But in this social media era, when he's looking for a contract extension, when he's extension eligible after this year and he can make $30 to $40 million per year, people are going to bring those concerns up once again, because there's no place, no room for this, no reason to do this when you're costing your team and you're the best player on the defensive side of the ball. And the Eagles need to know, if we're going to give you 30 to 40 million per season, we need to know our investment is safe, and you can't cost us like this. So it looked ugly to start, and it still is ugly. I'm not excusing anything that Jalen Carter did. But then, after the weather delay, after NBC was able to go through some film and some camera angles, this is honestly great work by the production crew, they found this video of Dak Prescott literally looking at Jalen Carter, going out of his way to go in between two of his offensive linemen, spits on the ground intentionally toward the feet of Jalen Carter, looks at him in the eye, and says, yeah, as he nods his head. People are trying to act like Dak Prescott is a choir boy. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he provoked Jalen Carter. Now, again, it doesn't excuse that Jalen Carter retaliated. Why the hell would you ever spit on the chest of an opponent, especially the quarterback, when the official is right there? But Dak Prescott is also in the wrong. And for him in his post-game press conference to kind of beat around the bush and not be completely honest, come on, Dak, we're not stupid. We know exactly what you were doing. And so the first video that we saw, you're thinking Jalen Carter got suspended before the game even started pretty much. He could get further penalized by the NFL and suspended and fined for another game. And you're thinking that's inevitable, right? But Dak spitting toward Jalen Carter first might just lead to a fine, because now the NFL is going to say, well, Dak spit at Jalen Carter, and then Jalen Carter spit on Dak. Obviously, Carter's action is worse, but he was provoked by Dak. He's not the good old boy. It's still inexcusable that Jalen Carter did that, but again, Dak caused it. And so that context is important because we didn't know that Dak Prescott did that at first. And so we do have to correct some of our reactions that we had. I'll also say this. I mean, this goes without saying, right? Carter's ejection changed the game. Dak even said it himself. He said, when we knew that number 98 was out of the game, our complete game plan overturned and changed. And you saw it. The Cowboys ran and went right through the middle of the Eagles defensive line, targeting the Jalen Carter-less Eagles front. And the Eagles struggled a little bit because Carter's impact is immense. As for Dak, I thought he played really well. He was let down by his teammates. This is a good sign for Cowboys fans out there because Dak looked the part. Now, he is no longer a mobile quarterback. He's actually really slow back there. But in the pocket, he delivered some dime balls, some really tough throws. again, context important. He did throw some balls up for grabs, and there were a couple of plays that could have been intercepted, but he made some big-time throws to CeeDee Lamb. $188 through the air, 9 yards per completion, 5.5 yards per attempt. It was CeeDee Lamb who really let down Dak Prescott, and my goodness, Peter Thurman sent this to me on Instagram. This photo of CeeDee Lamb here to my right. The internet is hilarious. Somebody created this photo of CeeDee Lamb with no arms and hands because he dropped some big-time balls last night, and if he catches some of those, we might be reacting to a Philadelphia Eagles loss this morning as compared to a Philadelphia Eagles win. You got to love Twitter. You got to love the internet. And the humor there, it's hilarious. Before we continue to push forward on today's show, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm bringing you videos every single day on the Philadelphia Eagles. Last night, we surpassed 126,000 subscribers, so lock us in and subscribe today. Coming up next here, winners and losers here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Who was I impressed by? Who was disappointing last night against those Cowboys? We'll dive into that. But first, today's Philadelphia Eagles Now, sponsored by our friends at DraftKings. For those of you who watch this show, you know that me and Chip are a Philadelphia tandem. He's also the host of our 76ers channel. We've been running these great DraftKings deals over there, so Chip is going to tell you about that right now.
Game on. Week 1 starts now, and every touchdown brings you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. This isn't just football. It's first touchdown fireworks, anytime touchdown rushes, and live bets that ride every momentum shift. At DraftKings, every play is your next shot to win. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, grab over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Your season starts now. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SixersChat. That's code SixersChat to get $300 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first bet of $5 or more. Plus, over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bet expires 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket /terms. Limited time offer.
All right, let's welcome on Chip. Here are Chip's picks for week 1. This week 1 slate is really good, and obviously it got started with the bang with Eagles Cowboys. But Chip, Giants money line against Washington, huge game inside the NFC East.
Yeah, and I know it's at Washington, but man, I like the Giants early on. I think the Commanders could be in for a little bit of a regression back to the mean in terms of at least their win total this year. Still obviously like them and Jaden Daniels, but
yeah,
give me the new look Giants, baby.
Because here's the thing, too. Giants might lose this game, but the value on the money line, too good to pass up. Colts minus 1.5 against Miami. The Dolphins could be a dumpster fire this year. I feel you there.
Yeah, I'm just not a huge fan of the Dolphins. You know, maybe early in the season they're better than they are as the season goes on if Tua gets hurt. I think the Colts, the quarterback situation stinks, but I think their defense is good, a little bit underrated. I think they'll probably win, 8-9 games again. So give me the Colts there.
Mitchell Renz will like this one. Raiders money line over New England. I think New England can be sneaky good this year, but I think the Raiders are also going to be very competitive.
Yeah, I agree. I think, two teams that haven't been very good. I think both of these teams will end up being much better this season. So a tough one, but I do like the Raiders here to come up with the upset. I believe they're the underdog in this game. So give me the Raiders here over the Patriots in week 1.
A lot of good value plays by Chip. Download the DraftKings app. Use the promo code SixersChat. We'll put all of that information down below in the show notes. All right, we move forward here. Thanks to Chip for that. My Eagles winners against the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, we just talked about Jalen Hurts for a lengthy period of time. He was the MVP of that game last night, best player on the field. He was so dynamic with his arm and his legs, and I think that he was nearly perfect, nearly flawless in that game against Dallas. Saquon Barkley, just because of how good he looked, how he impacted the game, had a couple of really impressive runs and plays, especially in key situations. Because Dallas took away Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Dallas Goedert was the safety valve for Hurts. And this is a credit to Jalen Hurts. He does such a great job of taking what the defense gives him. Again, with his arm, with his legs. A.J. Brown, Smitty, taken away, checks it down to Goddard for the safe play to keep the ball moving and the chains moving. How about Zach Bond? Looked every bit of the all-pro that he was last year and finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. The heady, athletic plays that he made all throughout that game, in particular, when he chased down Miles Sanders from the opposite hash to take him down in the red zone, which then led to the Sanders fumble. Game-changing play. Could have won the game for Philadelphia in the grand scheme of things. We're going to talk more about Jahad Campbell here in a moment. My goodness, the rookie is for real. Jalen Carter gets booted. Jordan Davis stepped in and played awesome football. More on him in a moment. The Eagles went light at outside linebacker pass rusher last night, but Joshua Uche made the most of his opportunities. Looks as though Andrew Makuba is the starter and the top safety alongside Reed Blankenship. Vic Fangio really likes the kid, and he found himself around the ball last night. Another player who stepped up without Jalen Carter in the game, Byron Young. Vic Fangio calls him BY. BY had a really good camp, former third-round pick out of Alabama. You saw the ability, nearly had an interception as well. And then lastly, Jake Elliott and the Eagles coaching. This goes to special teams and coaching adjustments. All huge winners. Then you think about some losers here. I'd go with Adoree Jackson as obviously the biggest loser. The secondary as a whole also was a little bit shoddy. Didn't play all that well. Those are my Eagles winners and losers against Dallas. Let me know what you're thinking for your winners and losers down in the comment section right now. Remind me of somebody I may have forgotten about. And then let's add on top of what I was talking about with some of those previous players, right? Goddard's impact might look small, but it was huge. 7 catches, 44 yards, just very timely plays between Jalen Hurts and Goddard. And those two are tight. Hurts made it a point for Philadelphia and Goddard to return to Philadelphia because everybody understands the importance that he has. Talked about Jahad Campbell earlier. How about how he defended the seam downfield and had that pass break up? That was a tremendous play. And Zach Bond said to him prior to the game, you make some high-level plays, you can wear white laces on your cleats. Bond said after the game, he earned that. Jahad Campbell, highest graded defender on Thursday Night Football among the two teams, 88.3. He was good, and he also came around the edge to help, alongside Byron Young, force that Miles Sanders fumble. That was one of the biggest plays of the game. Jahad Campbell is for real. Can't believe Philadelphia and Howie Roseman got him with the 31st overall pick. Back to Jordan Davis here. Jordan Davis has worked very hard on his body. He's wanted to get in better shape. Coming out of Georgia, he was really a 2-down player because he didn't have the stamina to be a 3-down player. Last night, he was a 3-down player and an impactful one. That might be the best all-around performance for Jordan Davis given the situation and how important it was for him to step up once Jalen Carter got ejected in his career. 3 hurries on Dak. Should have had 2 sacks. He needs to finish there. As John Gruden would say, I don't care about hurries. Get the quarterback on the ground. He also had 3 pressures, 6 tackles, and he played 87% of the snaps. That's big-time stuff from Jordan Davis in a year where he's trying to secure a bag after this year. Here's what Zach Bond said about Jordan Davis. And what I mean by that, Eagles exercise his 5th-year option, so he's under club control the next 2 years. Improved last year, carried over into week 1. Jordan's been working his ass off to get to where he's at, Bond said. He should be very proud of himself, and I hope he knows that the work he put in wasn't for nothing. I thought he did a really good job. He certainly did. As for Joshua Uche, the Eagles needed a pass rusher to step up because Azeez Ojulari was a healthy scratch. Obu Okoronkwo was inactive as well. So the Eagles went light at pass rusher. They elevated Patrick Johnson from the practice squad. He played pretty well once again. And they needed Uche to bring it. He did. He was very impressive in this game. 18 pass rushing snaps for him, 4 pressures that led the team, and a pass rush win percentage of 43.8%. That also led the Eagles. Number 0, he popped. So too did Jahan Dotson. Had a good spring. Had a good summer. Then a lot of the talk about a potential Eagles wide receiver 3 started to go to Darius Cooper, maybe at some point in the future or after this year if Dotson hits free agency and gets paid elsewhere. We'll talk about that if it comes around, but let's talk about the present and the now. Jahan Dotson, who is great for this Eagles team in the playoffs, who never chirped about not getting a lot of opportunities last year because the bulk share went to A.J. Smitty, Saquon, and Goddard, had a good spring, had a good summer. He understands this offense more. He went down to Houston. He worked with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts threw a rope and a dime right on stride in the bucket, dime ball, as we like to call it, to Dotson, who used his speed to get behind the defense and make an explosive play to flip the field and eventually put points on the scoreboard. That was a great play from Dotson and a great throw from Jalen Hurts. And I'm just thinking more for my Eagles losers, right? Chip, we have that photo of the Eagles secondary, right? Can we pop that photo up of the Eagles secondary? Because I was talking about Adoree Jackson being a loser. Honestly, the secondary as a whole, a little bit of a loser. Maybe the Eagles' second half offense, a little bit of a loser too. But speaking of the secondary here, these are the Eagles' cornerbacks in coverage against Dallas. Adoree Jackson, 7 targets, 5 catches, 103 yards. Quinyon Mitchell, I didn't think he was great and had the PI, which was questionable. 9 targets, 4 catches, 30 yards allowed. Cooper DeJean, 3 targets, 1 catch, 0 yards allowed. He was really strong. And then Jacorian Bennett, I think he gets better as he gets more acclimated here. 3 targets, 3 catches, 20 yards allowed. But also keep in mind, CeeDee Lamb got open a lot in the secondary. That doesn't show on the box score. He did put up big numbers, but the drops don't really. And the Eagles were beat a couple of times. They need to secure things up a little bit on that back end. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button here on Philadelphia Eagles Now for Elite Daily Philadelphia Eagles coverage. And as always, thank you so much for supporting the show. We love you all.